Okay, so call to order for the Economic Development Commission meeting for Wednesday, August 25th, 2021. Present today are Ron Jodas, Charmaine Seavey, Brooke Freeman, Bob Crowther, along with Morgan Hilliard, Melissa Appleby, Tom Fitzgerald, Tom Rice, Sherm. One of these days I will remember your name. And out are Maria Capriola, Peter Van Loon, and Tom Merle. So the first item is a quick update on our EDC work plans. Charmaine, do we have any updates on the marketing project?
Nothing to report other than it was presented to the Board of Selectmen and I believe well received.
Yeah, the presentation was on August 9th. Is there a sense of what the next steps might be or the plan to bring it? Now that we have all the data, where are we going to go with this?
I mean, I have not talked to Jeff since the 9th, but okay. The next steps would be, since we have all the data, to actually really start examining, what the marketing materials are actually going to be and look like as far as copy and everything else.
Okay, very good. When do you think you'd be in a position to provide a more detailed update?
I can give I can give him a call, or send him an email today or tomorrow and see. The ball's in his court, so to speak.
Okay.
But I can get you an update.
Very good. What I'd like to do is, and we'll talk about this more later, but when we get into the annual report, the annual presentation we have to do the Board of Selectmen in the October timeframe, is to be able to at least outline what those steps are going to be.
Okay.
We got the presentation, we understand what the feedback looks like. Everything is very well received. But, what are our next steps? Where do we take it from here? So that would be helpful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any updates on the co-working space supporting entrepreneurs? I know we have the proposal, Melissa, that we're working through with the chamber.
Yeah, we have the proposal. It's in final shape. It's in good shape. We're sort of holding in a holding pattern for now because the Board of Selectmen work group on the federal recovery funds just started meeting. There are a couple meetings in, but they basically want to settle their whole framework for allocating the dollars before they start approving specific projects. They're making good progress, but they're not quite there yet to start actually vetting specific projects. Hopefully that will come soon. But until they get a little further down in their work, we're sort of waiting on that, because the good news is we do think that will be eligible for the recovery funds,
Okay.
that specific project. So we'll have to wait and see in terms of if they're going to fund it through those funds.
Okay, good. Yeah, I think we're all kind of anxious to get that launched, as we do see the need in town. We are seeing the needs being published from other towns. So I'm anxious to have, Simsbury involved in that space. That would be great. Thank you. Just a quick update on the business outreach. Tom, I saw your email earlier today that we do have a meeting set up with the Andreo family, Andy Andreo, on September the 8th at 4 p.m. You all will be receiving an invite for that meeting. So if you're interested in participating, be on the lookout for that invite from Tom, and respond appropriately if you'd like to participate. Moving on to the stakeholders and liaison updates. Sarah's not here tonight. She did provide some feedback on the input to the annual report that I'll talk about when we get down to that particular part of the presentation. Morgan, do you have an update from the chamber?
Sure, thank you. So we are seeing really, really fantastic participation from members. So we're seeing a lot of members renew that maybe weren't able to pay in 2020, and we were very patient. We didn't drop people for that. We just maintained contact and continued supporting businesses regardless of whether they were current with their dues or not, because we understood the position they were in. And that has really, served to show our members that we're there for them. So we're seeing all of those members that, were really impacted by COVID last year come back, you know, become active again in the chamber, participate in events, which is great to see. We're also seeing a record amount of new members join. So these are new businesses. A lot of them are smaller businesses, but new local entrepreneurs, which is fantastic to see. So I think already we have surpassed the new members for this current year than were received in total for 2019. So that's really, really exciting. It's kind of showing that the climate out there for businesses is optimistic and people are getting out there and looking to hit the ground running. We have a lot of events coming up. Tomorrow morning, we have our Good Morning Simsbury networking meeting, which is in person on the chamber patio. We've got coffee and bagels. It's open to everyone, members, non-members. We do hope that people register on the website for that, just so we have a head count, so we don't run out of coffee at 7:30 in the morning. That's never a good thing. But everyone is welcome to join that. And we have an agenda. Everyone has the opportunity to introduce themselves, their business. If they're looking for employees, that's a good time for them to connect with other professionals in the area. If they have events, it's a great time to promote their events. So everyone has the opportunity to speak to the group, and then we highlight one business that's scheduled ahead of time. So tomorrow it's Scott Ronan, who is a member, and his business is School of Rock, West Hartford. So we're excited to hear from him, and I think we're getting a demo. Hopefully, I'm not spoiling that, but I think we're getting a demo from him. And let's see. Then September 10th, we have a health expo, which is in conjunction with the September Feast weekend over at the Performing Arts Center. So we're part of that Friday launch into the September Feast weekend. There will be an arts and crafts fair going on simultaneously to the Chamber Health Expo that Friday, September 10th from 2 to 6 p.m. That is the date for free admission to September Feast. So we do anticipate a lot of people checking out the arts and crafts and the health and wellness businesses for free that day and coming back the next day for the Health Expo that's going on, which is organized by the Performing Arts Center. So we have about, I think we're expecting around 30 or so vendors. I do have to be honest, we have had an unfortunate amount of businesses that want to participate but can't because they don't have the employees to keep their doors open for the day as well as participate. So it's really unfortunate because we're trying to come up with as many opportunities as possible to highlight these businesses, but they're not able to take advantage of them all because of this employment issue that everyone is still dealing with. So that's definitely unfortunate, but we'll continue to support them in every other way that we can. Then we have an after hours, which is September 23rd. It was originally the 16th, and then we realized that was Yom Kippur, and obviously not fair to that side of membership. So we moved that to September 23rd, and it's going to be over at Andy's Italian Kitchen, and it's also in partnership with Belden Forest Court. That's 5:30 to 7:30. And then last but not least, we have our spectacular celebration on the calendar, which is October 17th from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. So a lot of you on this call, volunteered for that day, and you will be getting an email. So please come out and support the event again. Those that were able to participate last year know that it was really one of the only community events going on due to COVID. And we managed to pull it off. It was a sold out, safe, successful event. It highlighted around 50 of our member businesses. We had games and all sorts of live entertainment. So very family focused, food trucks, all of that. So we're building on that plan from last year. We are keeping to the COVID safe drive-through portion. Speaking to Missy from the Performing Arts Center, she did discuss it with the Farmington Valley Health District, and they said, guys, could you do us a favor and do what you did last year so it's one less thing for us to worry about? So we're just going to move ahead with those plans because it did work out very well. So Iron Horse Boulevard will be shut on that one way. All of our vendors will be on the sidewalk, and cars will drive through and see each and every vendor, which will be decked out in Halloween gear and passing out candy and all sorts of, promotional materials, things like that. Then the attendees will park at the Performing Arts Center, enjoy, an assortment of games and activities, live music. The Moonlight Pub will be open, and food trucks. So we're very excited to get more information out, and hope to see the great attendance that we saw last year again.
So I look forward to volunteering again.
Yay.
It was a lot of fun.
Great.
That was great. Just another quick comment. Morgan and I have been working with Sarah as part of the government affairs meeting agenda, and Sarah will be presenting at the Chamber Government Affairs meeting on November the 18th, I believe, the update on the marketing materials. So not only the highlights from Jeff's presentation to the board on the 9th, but also the updates from that particular point forward. So we will get the word out, and I think that'd be very well received by the business owners here in town. So we're looking forward to that as well.
Absolutely. And the next government affairs meeting, I'm going to blank on the date, of course, September. Yeah, I'm not going to even try, but I'll get all of the information out to everyone. But the next government affairs meeting, we will be having Sean Askham and Wendy McStudis talking about their campaign. And then the one after that, we will be having Sarah discussing all of the brand new marketing materials. We're very excited to have her.
Great. Thank you. Okay, Sherm, quick update from the library, business and career center.
Yeah, we continue to get a lot of requests for our large meeting space, which we still don't have available to the public yet at this time. So that continues. We are switching over to a new event calendar system, September 6th. The system that we're currently using, the company that maintained that is shutting down at the end of the year. So we've been working on the migration of that. So I'm pretty happy about it. It's got a very nice modern interface and look compared to our old system. So we're excited about that. A lot of traffic in the library. We haven't had any issues with the mask or anything. We do have people able to use our large work tables, and we have the study rooms and the small conference rooms opened again in the BCC, and they're getting a lot of use. I think all the use we're seeing of the space in the library bodes well for the office space initiative we're trying to get underway. So that's good to see. That's all I've got.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Ron, any updates from zoning?
Let's see. I think I missed a meeting, and there hasn't been any meetings in August for zoning. However, there's still stuff going on. Glad Mike's here because there's a couple things. I guess there was a presentation given by Halloran Sage regarding a bunch of land use regulations that came out by the state, which have to be, town has to adopt, or in one instance, I think was it 2129, we have the option to opt out, which from the presentation looked like that's what they would recommend. Bunch of other things that have to be incorporated. I also saw that there's an affordable housing plan. Mike, is that completed now, or is that a draft?
So the affordable housing plan was completed by the Planning Commission. It's just being shared with the Zoning Commission. And what Ron was discussing earlier was there's two major pieces of legislation that affect the Zoning Commission or the community in the whole. One was an act, it was the Zoning Enabling Act, a reorganization, which had some sweeping changes to how we handle accessory dwelling units, and something that the Zoning Commission has tackled in the past. So they will be reviewing this at their next meeting, along with recreational marijuana. Recreational marijuana is now allowed under 21-1, Public Act 21-1, and the Zoning Commission has a role in potentially regulating it, or it could be regulated by ordinance. The Zoning Commission will be discussing those two pieces of legislation at their next meeting in September, on September 20th.
What were the components of 2129 that we could opt out on? Was that just the accessory dwelling and the
accessory dwelling units, the parking regulations associated with it? There's some basically traffic. It would be trips generated regulations versus kind of what we have right now, where it's based on the square footage of the use. California has that kind of performance regulations. That's where that trips generated was used for a standard to attach to the new accessory dwelling unit statute.
Okay, so some of the things in 2029 that character of the community can no longer be considered in rejecting an application, or the potential for higher density units per acre. Those we don't have any control of. That's just the state's mandating all that stuff.
Yeah, the character of the district, yeah, that's been deleted from the statute. It's been replaced with a different term, basically using it more towards the architectural features, the built environment. Just because, you know, some proponents of this legislation felt that the character of the district was used by some certain communities as kind of weaponized against multifamily housing, a way to say no. And others, you know, have said it's. So, you know, we have a new standard, which is it's tied more to the built environment.
Okay. And it sounds someplace in there in the affordable housing plan that the way the state defines affordable housing is not, Simsbury's 30% of affordable housing, meaning the cost of it is in affordable range, is not considered affordable by the state. It sounds like we could potentially ask the state to look at our affordable housing and say, can you consider this, even though it doesn't have all these deed restrictions and all that stuff? Is that?
No.
No, that's not allowed.
No,
Okay.
no. The only way under 830G, and Bill, if you want to chime in too, 830G is just a very specific formula that applies to either deed restrictions, deed restricted units, units that individuals are receiving federal or state assistance, whether it be like, for example, USDA loans that low-income individuals qualify for, or just Section 8. Those really are what count towards our 10%. The physical number, for example, the statistics you pulled out of the plan regarding how many sales were less than $250,000 in Simsbury over the calendar year of 2020. Unfortunately, unless they have a deed restriction or you have an individual that has a qualifying mortgage or assistance that's residing in that home, it does not count towards our 10%.
Okay. So I guess the only way we could have any control over this would be if we assisted people in getting, FHA loans or loans that met the state's requirement. Then otherwise we're kind of at the mercy of the state. Those are all kind of, in my thoughts, are potentially could change the character of the town substantially. And it's kind of out of our hands. So just something to keep an eye on when you're trying to market the town. How can we control that to keep somewhat our character as a rural small town in Connecticut? Because these regulations really trying to push everybody to be much higher density, but without much zoning having much say in that. That's it.
Okay, thank you. I have no updates from the design review board. We haven't met in a while, and sustainability took a month off, so no updates there. And Tom's not here for development projects, so I think Tom's going to be tracking the new development, the Chris Nelson project on Iron Horse Boulevard. And my understanding is they've received all approvals and they're underway as far as development is concerned, correct?
So they've received their local approvals at this point. They're in the final stages of purchasing the property from Gerard Brothers Corporation. Oh, okay. And then after that, they'd have to apply for their state, both traffic and stormwater permits. So, I mean, they still have to secure some other permits, but the big hurdle of getting through the local land use commission has been completed.
Okay. When do you think they'll start development then?
They want to start as soon as they have permits in hand.
Okay.
So, they would love to say this coming spring they're moving dirt, or this winter they're moving dirt.
Good.
But unfortunately, the state permits, that we just have to wait on those.
Okay. Good. Okay. Moving on to item number 3. The first item there is EDC vacancy posting. I think you've all received the notice from the town seeking a volunteer to fill the open position on the EDC board. Melissa, my understanding is it has to be a Republican. Is that correct?
Right, because it was a, a vacancy through in the middle of a term, per our charter, it has to be filled by someone of the same affiliation. So that's why that specification is in there.
Okay. And so members of the board, if you know someone you think would be a good member, reach out to them and ask them to apply. The second item there is around the ADC liaison to the Spirit Commission. I sent an email out to you all on August 9th that one of the things we did not close on at our last meeting when we had the Spirit Council present to us was to nominate someone to be the liaison from the EDC to the Spirit Council. So I reached back out to Cheryl Cook, tried to better understand the commitment, time commitment, and it looks like it would be for at least, like it is with zoning, like it is with the Design Review Board and the other commissions that we had members sitting in on. It's one night a month. With all of the different committees, I think the suggestion is to start out on the steering committee, and if you would like to participate in one of the subcommittees, the individual could do that. But the recommendation from Cheryl was that if you're interested to sit in on a meeting on September the 13th at 6 p.m. to listen on the reports from the various committees, and then we'd have a better understanding of what's available. But what I did want to open up to this group is there anyone interested in being the liaison from the EDC to the Spirit Council? Anybody like to volunteer?
I'm not necessarily interested, but I forgot to mention that Jeff Dornberg and Sarah and myself, we were asked to speak with the Spirit Committee, and we had a Zoom meeting. And so, I don't know, we have another Zoom meeting set up with them on the 10th, September 10th at 9:30 in the morning. So is just part of the marketing committee and learning more and our survey and everything else. So
Okay.
anyway, I should have reported that when it was my turn. Sorry.
No problem. So, but you're not necessarily volunteering to be the liaison to the full-time liaison?
No, not necessarily, but I do have this. I will know more about what they're doing after 9:30 on the 10th of September. So.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Charmaine. Okay. So we'll leave that open for the time being, and I may reach out to individuals who are not here tonight to see if one of them might be interested in participating. And the last item on the housekeeping items is the outline of the presentation that I'll be giving to the Board of Selectmen, our yearly update in October. And I sent you all just a quick outline of what I saw as the major accomplishments for the year. And what I was looking for from you all is any feedback on, have I missed anything? Is there something on here or that's not captured on this list of items that we want to talk about that needs to be on the list? The only feedback I got was from Sarah earlier in her email. She wished to change the labeling, if you will, on the marketing to be the Main Street Partnership Program branding and marketing materials update for the town in partnership with the town and the EDC. So we'll make sure that that title is conveyed appropriately. Is there anything else in the areas here that that you see that is not on the list that should be included? And I'll take your silences. We're good to go. Then for our next meeting, what I'll have for everyone to review is the initial draft of the full presentation. It will be very, very similar to what the others were, the other two previous years. And we'll look forward to everyone's input on that. Okay, with that, did everybody get a chance to review the minutes for July 28th? Any changes or updates to the minutes? Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
To approve.
A second?
Second.
Okay, thank you. All those favoring or voting to approve the minutes to signify by aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Okay, minutes are fully approved. Thank you. And with that, any other items before we adjourn? Alyssa, this could be a new record.
I think it is.
Okay, done by 6 o'clock. Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second? All right, Brooke seconds. Then, so the meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody. And we'll see you next month.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.